give details about how it helped me, how it's deepened my realization. I think I just need a little encouragement. Oh, the first thing to remember is that I came completely out of chronic pain as a result of the repression work. So Scott's experience before the repression work and after is like night and day, because before it was excruciating pain, and not every day excruciating, but often really bad pain. So that was my life. It was like I used to say, peace or presence and pain right in the middle of it, emanating from my spine. So obviously I'm going to have a lot to say about emotional repression work, since it was the number one thing that lifted the emotional repression, that healed the chronic pain. But that's not what the person is asking. They're asking about personality, life things, relationship things. Look, I was just commenting to my partner today, this morning, how I asked for what I want. Let's see if we can fix this. Am I being authentic? We sometimes demand the other person be authentic, of course. That's important, of course. But it feels off when I'm not authentic. Authentic is not a word that was in my vocabulary. True story. 7 years ago, as a teacher, it felt like a word that would be extraneous. It'd be like, yeah, if you can be authentic, that's great. It's like, what does that really have to do with what I'm talking about, which is awakening or embodiment? And that's foolish. Foolish thinking has everything to do with the realization embodiment repression work does. Authenticity, has everything to do with awakening and embodiment. I just couldn't see it back then, and that's because I wasn't authentic. Yes, I was in many ways, but in ways that really counted, I wasn't. In ways that really mattered, I wasn't showing up authentically, frankly, in my relationships. No big deceptions, nothing like that, nothing scandalous. It's just when your system, because of childhood conditioning, will not allow you, literally not allow you to express certain feelings or have certain feelings of any magnitude, like anger, rage, fear. When you don't have that experience, you grow up not being able to express those things. Your voice gets shut down. So when I look back at the Scott character from even 7 years ago, I just didn't know any better. I did not know any better, and that's why I get on here. One of the reasons I get on here all the time is because I think there are other people who just don't know any better. And that is not meant in a derogatory way. It's meant in the sweetest, kindest, most loving way. You may not know, like I didn't know, how repression is deeply affecting everything. It affected my physicality. It helped to bring about serious chronic pain, spine condition. But beyond that, it was just a lack of authenticity in my relationships. Again, no big scandals, nothing like that. It's just that if not having my emotions online, all my emotions, with some of them repressed, the love could only be so deep. I don't know how to say this. The connection, the heart connection, can only be so deep when there's not authenticity. Here's the catch, though. Most people think they're already being authentic, and that's insidious. Because yes, of course, that's what the ego does, is it lies to us, saying that we know what that is while we have repressions. That's so clever. While we have repressions, the ego will literally, while I'm talking on this video, there will be people listening to this video who will say, I don't repress. I am authentic. And yet, if I did the litmus test with you, sound issues, that's always fun. Sound is fluctuating. Let me start over, guys. Without this, let me see if you can hear me. But if you could come back to the new video, the second video, and just let me know like how the volume is, because without these, it's not always great. So hang in there with me. Let me know.